Society has several exceptions to suppressing violence. These include patriotism, the idea that it is good and right to risk your life for your country, and whilst risking your life, you are doing your utmost to destroy an enemy of freedom. The same message is given to the enemies. By desensitising the idea of a foe, one can kill without being fully aware of the horrifying truth that society will resort to tolerated, actual and real violence to get its way, especially if it feels threatened. Never has this been more demonstrated than in recent terrorist attacks and the moral right the attacked feel to retaliate. One mustn't forget that one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. Again, the exception is named as defence or protection. The same protection drive allowing sport violence through competition allows violence in whatever manner the leaders of a state deem necessary, with the support of a certain amount of individuals. In this respect, society condemns violence in the street, yet on the battlefield there is supposed to be a difference that morally legitimises the use of force. More often than not, countries fight because they want something. A thief attacks me because he wants my bag. Whilst one can see the different circumstances and the gravity of the situation, I don't understand its moral significance, why one is correct and one is not. Society gives us the answer. The answer is what Walter Wink terms the myth of redemptive violence. On a large scale, redemptive violence is an eye for an eye, an ancient religious law, particularly of the Western major religions, says that justification for using violence is when you have violence used against you. We know that this is the basis for a lot of the symbolism already discussed in professional wrestling, the idea that might makes right. Over 2,000 years ago in the history of Christianity, Jesus replaced that law with a modified grin and bear it. For no one is perfect. So only if you are perfect are you in a position where you can use the eye for an eye rule. Wink's ways are pastoral, through communication to generate understanding, not to act on impulse, the natural deep desire for revenge and violent retribution. He calls for restraint and patience. Though evil should always be opposed, there are moral routes through which society can work, by which it will avoid promoting violence. Ron Klassen further clarifies by saying that Wink's idea of restorative justice is about assertive and constructive responses, in order that the wrongdoer may recognise and accept responsibility. One can see following this path that there is no need for society to be hypocritical in promoting violence when there are other ways. However, it must be noted, action films like Saving Private Ryan, Pearl Harbor, etc. all display this ideology of redemptive violence. We mustn't forget that watching such violent films can also gratify the VSI for us. Ironically, this idea of the need for vengeance seems to be a very deeply held passion by Western society.